apologize. It's a Thursday, not a Wednesday, but we back. This might be risky. It is what it is. I'm gonna bring the panel up real quick. Mm-hmm. 2, 3. I'm going to bring him up last. 4, 5. Beautiful panel tonight. Let's make some noise. This might be risky. Like, share, subscribe. Oh, East, you in the wrong place. I'm supposed to be in the middle. All right, all right, all right, all right. So I got Aisha to my left. It's her first time on the stage. We're gonna see how it go. Q on the corner. Furious Styles beneath me. He was Master Corey last week. I guess just Corey this week. So
I switched it. It's gonna change, halfway through the show. As my mood changes, what I want to be
I
called.
think your mic is off, Corey.
nah, I can hear him. You can't hear him?
No.
You guys hear him?
Yeah, you gotta stick to a pronoun, Corey.
Yeah, you can't switch your pronouns whenever you want.
Alex, you don't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh.
Yes, Master Corey, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Thank you. I'll get it back.
And as always, the wonderful Alex to my right. All right, let's jump right into it, man. First topic. I was thinking about this, so I'm just gonna ask the question: Are women alpha naturally, or does the society and necessity to be alpha kind of force them to go into that role? So, from my point of view, I don't think women are naturally like alpha, just in the sense of like their natural use, natural role. But my opinion can be changed. But I was just thinking through this at a high level. So, Furious Styles, we'll start with you.
No, I don't believe women are alpha by nature, but yes, I think our society now does dictate them to take a more substantial role at home,
Mhm.
um, with being nurturer and provider and protector.
Yeah.
I mean, and professionally trying to succeed and excel in that realm too. And it really doesn't have a off switch for them to relax and turn into a submissive role if everything around them dictates that they can't throttle it down any.
Mm.
Hey, before we get going, can someone help me out? Like, I mean, I hear the alpha and beta talk all the time. What exactly is alpha? What does that mean? So I can understand.
So the alpha would be, I guess you can kind of describe it as like A personalities, right?
Mhm.
Lead, in charge, right? Make the
Mhm.
decisions. Um, you know, question, demand, command. Just in that leadership role.
All right.
Um, and beta doesn't necessarily mean negative, but for men, it does often have a negative connotation because if they're in a relationship and they're beta, that would mean that they're not in charge of their household, they're not in control of their household, they're not making the decisions.
Gotcha.
If that's clear.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just wanted to make sure I understood.
Yeah, it's good to set the baseline. So that's a
Yeah.
good question. Q, what you think?
I think women are naturally alpha. I think that it's been seen in different leadership roles that men carry, that a lot of that success behind that tends to come from the woman. I think even within most households, the woman tends to lead and be the more dominant party in a lot of areas. Um, Now, do I think that it should be that way? No, but
Mm.
I think that that's just naturally what it is. I think a lot of women are natural born leaders.
Okay, Alex.
I think it just depends on the circumstance. Um, I personally, in my situation, and from what I've seen around me, women are the alpha figures. When I think about men and women and who's leading, I always think of men as the head, woman as the neck. That's how I always. Corey, you all right?
No, I'm just we get a lot
Okay,
of we're getting a lot of interesting views. At first, I was about to chime in, but it's not rebuttal time yet. So y'all go
okay,
ahead.
okay. Just making
We'll
sure,
see.
just making sure.
Mhm.
But yes, I think women are naturally the alphas.
Isha,
I'm gonna have to agree.
I need a drink. Oh.
I think I'm gonna have to say Black
What are
women,
you talking about?
especially are alpha women, because we have no choice to be, and a lot of us have been raised to be these strong Black women who make decisions.
All right,
Mhm.
Master Corey.
Well, obviously, I mean, historically speaking, men have always, from the beginning of time, as far as history as we know it, have been the alphas, and have been the leaders. And I don't think that's any different now. I think men are just naturally alphas, and women are betas. I mean, and history, proves that point.
Yeah. So I guess my question would be: women have been alpha. What empire, what nation, right, has been led and started by women and developed by women? Like, what have women led? So I noticed someone said household. Was it Q?
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the house. So are you saying like the wife is in charge of like the cooking and the cleaning and make sure everything's copacetic house? Like
Mm-mm.
I need more information on that.
Nope. I think she takes on the role of directing how the kids are raised. I think she takes on the role of directing the finances. A lot of times, how her husband dresses, what time he needs to be home. A lot of just a lot of like dominance in a lot of areas. What directing him on what positions he should take at work. Um,
Wow.
how
Who are
to
these
apply
niggas?
for certain jobs, and
who,
uh,
are the men? Who are the
I
men you
think
speaking
that
of?
if you
Where
really are
where are
talking
these men
about
that
even nations indirectly, it's like I said, behind those men is the strength of that woman, or the guidance of that woman. So indirectly, they are kind of building those things up. It's just they don't get the recognition because they're not the face of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you aren't the face of it, wouldn't that mean that you aren't the alpha?
I don't think so.
Don't give me no crickets now.
No.
are?
Uh,
I think we handle the. I think women, when we in respects to a household, I think we handle the day to day. I think decisions are not made um, without having the conversation. I feel like men are going to come to women to get a second opinion, reason things out, make sense of things. Ultimately, the man may say, "All right, this is what we're going to do." He may be the mouthpiece of it, but the ideas and what goes on and the actual tasks and the details of things, that's led by a woman.
Yeah, but I don't think that equals alpha though. I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that equals like,
Consult.
yeah, you're like a consultant. Yeah, like you come up with the plans, and the leader approves the plans. Like, that's kind of how that works in most cases. I don't think that makes you an alpha.
Yeah.
So
Cause
I think of
Mhm.
kind of like you all are the face of things. When I think about the president, right? The president is the face of the United States, but he does not ultimately make all the decisions. He is the mouthpiece of things. It's the team behind him that ultimately makes the decisions. And it's the same in a household when it comes to,
But he's the alpha.
um,
He's the
no,
alpha of the United
no.
States. So he's not.
He can't make moves without getting approval
But if we
from
had to
everybody behind
identify
him.
someone as the alpha for the USA, he would be the alpha.
Well, that isn't exactly accurate. The president does have executive order power, so he can make decisions.
He's got to consult with someone.
Not all the time. Not all the
He's got to
time.
consult with someone. He's got his advisors. It
I
doesn't
He's
just
mean,
still
come
the
off the
alpha.
dome and he said, well, except for Trump, but it doesn't just come off the dome and he just says, all right, this is what we're doing. No, he has a team and a league of people that he has to talk to, sort out the details.
that he consults with. So for instance, in this scenario, the president is all widely considered the leader of the free world and the commander in chief. So he could pick up the United States military and go wherever he want and do whatever he want without running it by anybody to make a decision on it. Now, it's fair practice and best practice to consult with his executive staff, the House, Congress. That's best practice. But if he really wanted to, executive power does reside with the president. Um, but as far as like men versus women in alpha roles, I think the conversation may be a little convoluted because we're talking about things that are role specific, maybe gender specific. Um, yes, women do rule their household if there isn't a man there, and if there is a man there and the woman rules the household, then in that scenario, a woman may be an alpha. But generally speaking, if there is a two-person household, man and woman, I haven't known many instances where men haven't been the face or the lead of that household.
Aisha, what you think? I see you making faces.
I was married before, so I don't think that was accurate, but
Tell us more.
I think some men are beta because they're mama's boys. Not every man is an alpha male. So
Hmm.
I
So,
agree. I agree.
so it's hard to solve for outliers, but by and large, right? A lot of the things that we said were the woman consults, the woman is in charge of the house. A lot of that shit we don't care about, right? So fine, you want to help me pick up my clothes? Great, right? One less thing I got to do, and then you iron them for me. That's a plus, right? Matter of fact, like, thank you. But see, here's the thing about being out in front, though, right? You might have a consult, but when it goes bad, the person out in front also has to take the heat, and that's also a part of being alpha, taking the fallout from whatever is happening to you and yours. So, East, you saying you think that your situation you think that's happening a lot? Like, you think beta males are who's marrying and such?
I think so. I believe so. I think a lot of women in my family, we raise our daughters and we coddle our sons. And because we're coddling our sons, we're not making alpha males. And there's more alpha women out there.
Hmm. So, okay. So, question. So, if right, if men were being raised appropriately to be in their natural state, right, would
Mhm.
women be alpha?
I believe that women will feel safe enough not to be the alpha male. I'm alpha.
Yeah. Because my original question, is it natural? So no, then, huh?
Well, that's the way it is. It might not be natural, but that's what it is.
Right. Which goes back to being depending on the circumstance.
Mhm.
These beta men you meet, do you like walk up to them and introduce yourself to them? Do you ask them out? Do you like get on a knee and propose to them, or are they taking the lead on those things as well? Like, when do you start taking the lead? It seems like the whole male female dynamic is based on the male taking the lead from the jump, even just for us to get to know each other and interact.
Hey, y'all cannot freeze up. Like,
Come on, easy. Come on now.
Men are not coming up and introducing themselves. It is a lot of women taking the lead.
No, man, I don't know. We might be in fantasy world right now.
But I think she made a good point though when she spoke about, what households look like today, or maybe in her family, we raise our daughters and we coddle our boys. So when they grow to be men,
Put the cap on.
so when they grow to be a men and they're supposed to take these traditional roles, they're not equipped to do so. And that's where I say it becomes depending on the circumstance.
Who
so
isn't equipped? Who isn't equipped to do so, Alex?
I think the males, the men.
So, in that regard, the males aren't equipped to do so, but the unnatural alpha woman is.
I didn't say it was natural.
But
I
you're
didn't say
saying
it
that
was natural.
the males who are natural alphas, not every male, obviously there are outliers and exceptions, but uh, women who aren't naturally alpha are more equipped. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think there. So I think of nature versus nurture, and anything that was supposed to be natural, quote unquote, that's kind of put on the back burner.
Hmm.
So then it stops being what's natural and societal norms because of the circumstance.
Right. So, but are women more equipped to be in alpha role?
I don't necessarily think it's that we're equipped. We just don't have a choice. We rise to the occasion. We step up when we need to.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah. So I just want to
And I
push.
agree, by the way.
I just want to push back on that a little bit though. So we say like women step up and they do it. Our community is in the toilet. So you guys been stepping up to do what? You're doing a pretty shitty job, right? If you think about it, we had we were the most married people up until the 70s came, when they started taking factory work out of our neighborhoods and infesting it with drugs and crack and guns, where men disappeared, and then they were giving women housing in Section 8 that said you can't have a man here if you want these benefits, right? So once they removed the men, we went to the bottom. I mean, we were already pretty close coming from slavery, but then we went all the way to the bottom. And so since women been leading, have we been doing well, or we just been scraping by?
Need them both.
Yeah,
Need them both. And that's the issue that you just spoke to, that we don't have them both. A lot of times right now, we do not
but
have both.
but the question though, since women been in charge, look at our community. Have we been doing well?
But whose fault is that?
The women's fault. They leading.
Okay, let's take out
It's the leader's fault.
let's speak on
He
the
just
men
said
of
that
the,
if you want to be
okay.
the leader, you gotta take credit, and then you
Okay.
gotta take fault when it go bad.
Hey.
There you go.
So let's speak out. No. Let's talk about situations where there's a man and a woman, the woman gets pregnant, and the man decides he's not going to take care of his responsibility. At that point, you are a whole adult. You are making that choice.
Wait a minute.
Wait, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a tougher conversation than
That's a bit.
But that's creating the next generation.
well, but
So
but maybe
when you insert said child,
do we
let's say
mutually
there's
come
a
to
boy.
the decision to have the kid together? Or did you come to that decision on your own?
Okay, let's say they mutually came to the decision.
Huh?
Well, then if we
Initially.
both decide to do it and I don't participate, then
Initially.
huh?
Let's say initially, because it's all good and dandy when y'all are having sex.
That's not a decision to have a kid. Having sex is a decision to have an orgasm. It's not a decision to have a kid.
But you know there's a possibility, especially when it's unprotected.
No.
Yes.
I don't ever go into anything thinking about I don't want to pay the worst possible penalty for any action that
But
I
it's
take.
a possibility, right?
Shit, it's a possibility I get hit when I
Okay then.
That's not my intention though.
So
It doesn't matter what your intention is, but you know the potential outcome of it.
so are you saying that I like the little pivot, so we can go there, right? So every time people have sex, because there's a possibility that a kid should come, right? But we both know we're not having sex for that reason,
Right.
and then you get pregnant. Now I gotta be obligated to you and this kid for the rest of my life because we had a mutual agreement and it went a little sideways. Women have 32 different contraceptives.
Also, it's the women's job to protect themselves.
I like that answer.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a question.
So
question. Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was a statement.
Come on now.
The question
You
is,
can't want to be alpha only in certain areas. If you're going to be an alpha in all areas.
I gotta take the lead and putting the pill down your mouth.
Or take the lead and put on a condom. Me personally, I'm not laying down with nobody that I can't see myself having children with or raising children with.
we all had sex with no intentions. I don't believe that you never had sex without an intention to be with that person.
But I'm thinking like, okay, can I raise this child with this person? Are they going to take care of my child
Yeah,
Of course, not
now.
when you
But I'm
having
saying,
sex.
before I have sex?
oh
I'm
hell
not,
no.
Nah.
I'm not giving myself up to somebody I can't see myself. Stuff happens.
Put him in a fucking bedroom. Get him
Nah,
out.
man. It's
I'm a single.
No,
I'm a single mom now. I'm not doing that again. That's crazy.
oh no, I feel you, but we just talking about the encompassing all life. When I mean, I
So
just
it's more like for me, it's why are people surprised when they get pregnant when y'all wasn't doing nothing to protect yourselves? That's the part for me. There's that piece to it.
yeah,
When you
and we
decide, you know what, we're not going to be on birth control, we're not going to use these condoms. There's a risk. So
There
don't
is
be
a risk.
surprised if something should happen. And then in that situation, the woman is then made with the decision. It's ultimately up to her. Okay, I'm going to continue forward with this pregnancy, and the man has the option to go ahead and leave. Now, if he's an alpha male, he will step up to the plate and do what he needs to do.
Wow.
But if not,
Well,
minute.
well, no,
Wait.
I disagree with that.
Well, let me clarify one point. Q, I want to come to you, and then Sean, you could jump in. So, you say what now? You say ultimately it's her decision, right? So I have no say so. I've been out for all my goddamn life, and I have no say so. And now I have an option to play or not play when the kid
so
comes.
so
How do
there's
you
a cause and
take
an
the
effect.
authority though?
There's a cause and an effect, right? You chose to have let's say you didn't know she was on birth control, right? You didn't know. But as a man, you have the option, you have the choice to protect yourself, right? You made that choice. So when you chose to get in there with no protection, you are running the risk of trusting, okay, is she on the birth control or not? You run that risk. So then don't be surprised if she's pregnant. Don't be surprised.
I think so. I'm gonna
But in
disagree.
the moment, you're not thinking about it like that.
Yeah, because we're not doing it to have a kid.
Right.
I don't think there's surprise. I know Q's up. I just don't I don't think there's any surprise. But
If you
I
had told
mean,
me before the act that that this was gonna produce a kid, I wouldn't do it. 100 times out of 100. So I can tell
yo,
you my
I
intention
want
is
to hear
not.
what you have to say.
If you told me before, after this, there's gonna be a kid here, we're good.
But you know the
So,
possibility.
man, there's the possibilities of a lot of things. My,
Yes,
my, my
and you take
laptop
that
can catch
risk.
fire right now and burn me to death. I mean, anything can happen in life. I don't know. But that's not my intention.
Knowing you, that cheap ass laptop might blow up.
It's top of the line. This is a 2026 laptop. Q, what you thinking? What's
Yeah,
your plan?
I think that in that sense there could be a contradiction there for women if it's like I can have all the say when it comes to the kid, but yet I kind of want the man to be there. I want him to be present. So, you know, if you so now you're not giving him the option to say whether or not he wants to be present. And that's just I think a bit of a contradiction there. Like if you're taking on that role, you're basically saying now you have to be here for this child and you have to be here for this child in this way. And we see that a lot. And we see the main thing that supports that is the court system. And so it's like it's just a weird thing. Like I don't think women should be able to have that level of um, control because that's kind of what it is at that point. If you are irresponsible with your body, then you take that risk of a man getting you pregnant and not being there.
I like that.
Raise that child.
Yeah, that was good, man. I'm gonna definitely snippet that. Send it to all feminist groups so they can hear. So, any thoughts on that from the ladies specifically in terms of like your body? You want to have the control, your obligation. Like, what's your thoughts? I agree.
I agree. And I agree.
Damn,
I
hold
agree with what I said.
time
However,
out.
what
You
you
just
mean
said
time out?
something different. So
No, okay. So in theory,
you
and for the
confused the
context
first
of your conversation, I said what I said. However, for me personally, and the responsibility that I take for myself in situations that I've seen, it's like, you know what? When I make the decision to choose to continue on with this pregnancy and go on and raising this child, maybe knowing that he's not going to be an active participant, that's the choice that I made to continue on with it. However, what I'm saying is that for the men, that's for them. If they were raised correctly or how they were supposed to be raised, they're going to step up to the plate, despite the circumstance that got them there. But for me, if you told me, nah, I'm not about to be around, then I'm just not going to fool with you. I may not continue forth. That's just me personally. But for the context of the conversation, I said what I said.
Thank you. Isha, what'd you think on Q's last point?
I just learned that, it's up to me to bring the condoms.
Ham said they had 32 other contraceptives. Why you couldn't just pick one of the other ones? Why you keep trying to put it on the male? You keep trying to force the male contraceptive as the
I
only
said
means of protection.
it's up to me to bring the condoms. That's all.
Or pick one of the other 31 methods. You know what I'm saying? Either or.
Yeah, I mean, that's important. Like, whose responsibility is it? And I feel like the woman has the. You have to carry it. Gestation is what, 10 months, 40 weeks. Like, I think everybody should be responsible for themselves, but I feel like the onus, continues to be on the men. And then we say things like women are alpha, especially in our community, because they had to be. I feel like the flip flopping it may be on the female side.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we have to adjust with the times. I think with a new, more empowered woman in today's time, we have to be able to teach our young men, like, hey, look, you're gonna be in the hole hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially for a decision with someone you might not ever want to see in that same space ever again. I think it's in adjusting with the times, we have to come up with some kind of conversation or idea that, if you choose not to want to be involved, then that has to be has to be a measure that's accounted for. Um, and that's not, making you a beta because you don't want to step up to the plate and take care of a child that you didn't plan for, didn't ask for, didn't want. I think we have to shift the conversation in that regard. But no, the system isn't geared towards men in that, and women who proclaim to be alpha but defer to the court system, is contradictory in itself.
Mm. In terms of like support and such.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just difficult to say I'm alpha, 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 but I'm taking him to court
Right.
to take care of a kid.
You would
We
just
didn't.
step up if you're alpha. You would just step up and work one extra job or do whatever you got to do as an alpha,
In
and
theory,
the kid is taken care of.
Right, because I mean, we have, everybody knows scenarios where men have custody of their kids and don't request child support from the kid's mom. They just handle business as they should, like they're supposed to. But
Yeah.
there's not enough light shown on that in regards to the comparison where a woman who claims to be alpha, to be all empowering, I am woman, hear me roar, and every month she getting that check, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, that actually is a decent segue. So all the responses and the feedback. Some people definitely got put in the bathroom in that conversation, but we ain't gonna. So on that, right? I'm gonna kind of combine the two subjects, right? Just because I think they kind of work. So you guys familiar with what happened with the baby and Danny Lehigh or Lay, whatever her name is?
Um,
Um, okay,
enlighten me, please.
got you. So I obviously have a video, but something Sean said also. The one part of the video, so he's on live talking about their relationship, calling her a side chick, the whole 9 yards. He just had his baby, what, 3 months ago?
Mhm.
She was staying at his house, so on and so forth. So he got it on live, and he got 150,000 people watching this. Him calling her a side chick. She was never his girlfriend. She's offended. That's one part of it, right? So was his decorum appropriate? But what Sean said was kind of something at the end of the video or the second video I saw where the police came, right? And he trying to protect himself in that way. And she walking around the house, she not leaving. The police are not accosting her. And I'm thinking, If he's running back in the house, if she called the police on him, he would have had a bullet in his back, right? But he tried to protect himself, you know. But oftentimes we don't call the police on women, but vice versa. You know, we get the police called, you know, and we get, you know, that those situations are dangerous for us. So should we be teaching young black boys to protect themselves from women? Do black men know how to protect ourselves from women? And my answer is no. And then I don't think we have much help in it.
Mm. I,
So, Corey, what you think?
Um, I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, I saw the videos. I think on social media, he got a lot of flack for what he did. I didn't necessarily see an issue with it. Like you said, he calling the police because at the end of the day, if he doesn't, what I'm saying, she's gonna be flipped it on him tomorrow, and it'll be like, he hit me or he did something, and then it'll be his fault. And he said, look, you don't want to leave. I can't push you out. I can't throw you out. Let me call the authorities and have you removed. I mean, that's responsible. That's actually like good, mature adulting. So I didn't see nothing wrong with what he did. And I think that's the way other men should handle those situations.
Yeah. Isha, what you think?
Should we teach our men to? I think so. I mean, I'm raising a young black man, so I do teach him to, stay out of trouble. Also, in my field of work, I see domestic violence all the time, and I'm telling a lot of young black men, listen, leave this alone because you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Q, what you think?
mm. Well, I agree with you that I think we should be teaching our young black men to protect themselves, but I don't think that it's done enough, and I don't think there is enough protection for them because, like you said, there's that flip side of what if you're the one calling the cops, but then you end up getting shot. So it's a weird situation to be in.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't think that it's appropriate for a guy to have to be in that situation because at the end of the day, you're somebody's child. The same way that a woman in a quote unquote possible domestic violence situation is somebody's child. So I think there should be help for men, particularly black men, when it comes to um, domestic issues and that sort of thing.
Definitely. Alex?
I agree. I think I don't think there's enough support. I don't think enough of it is taught. Um, and the reality is that domestic violence happens or domestic situation happens towards men and it's not talked about enough. A lot of times in situations, if I'm having an argument with my significant other or another male, they're automatically going to come to me. A lot of times you don't see them going over to the male to ask them what's wrong. They're going to be the ones that are going to be escorted out. And I think that's something that needs to change. I don't have any children myself at this time. However, that's definitely a fear I have of mine if I should ever have a son, because you have to protect yourself also. And the system and the world is not set up to protect Black men.
Definitely. Furious Styles?
I do agree that there should be some education um, in our community, not just our community, but just in general, for young men to protect themselves and to try to avoid confrontation at all costs with a woman, because it's a lose lose. There's no win in that at all. Um, but I think a larger part of it is us getting over what we consider as weak, right? It's not just educating our boys to say, hey, if you feel like you're in this type of situation, call the police or leave or get away. It's actually having a conversation to say, you're not weak for calling the police. Um, you're not lame. You ain't a sucker. You ain't a beta. Any of these things. You're protecting yourself. You're protecting your career. You're protecting your future. You're protecting your family. You're protecting your freedom. I think we get caught up in, you know, even in the social media comments with the baby situation. Oh, he this, he that, he this, he that. At the end of the day, he protected his career. He protected himself and he protected her at the same time, because anything can go the wrong way. Any kind of altercation can happen in the home or outside the home that you have no control over. So the best way to handle that is if everybody keep their hands to themselves, first of all. And then, secondly, to get away from the stigma behind us thinking that it's weak or lame to call law enforcement. And it is dangerous. Like, Q brought up, like things might go the wrong way. It's best that you roll out. In that situation, I don't know if I would have called the police. I probably would have left myself and got a hotel and stayed somewhere for the night and then handled it in a different way. Um,
Who house
but
is it?
It's his
again,
house.
hmm?
That's his house though.
Yeah, but I mean, to that regard, you millionaire rap star, the baby, already with a history of using a firearm, you police respond to your house. You never know how that can go. That could
But you
shake the wrong way.
but you said you would have left.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm not staying in the house with a woman that's arguing and being confrontational. I'm not. I'm out. I'm
You're gonna
not.
leave her. You're gonna leave her at your house, and you gonna go somewhere.
All that stuff can be replaced, man.
Well, shit.
All that
But
stuff can be replaced.
well,
Look, I don't want to take the chance. I don't want to take the chance. You could be waiting for the police to show up and she come haul and hit you with a bottle upside your head. Then what? You going to feel like you got to defend yourself while you waiting for the police. Your
Toss her
face
ass out
leaking
like
like
Kansas
this.
Jeff.
And look, I've been in situations like that. It's best, and I've called law enforcement. Man, the best thing you could do is just leave.
but look
That's the
though.
best thing you could do.
But isn't that contrary to what we said? So you don't know how to protect yourself, right? You think that you gotta evade and leave because you can't. So you will tell them in one hand to call the cops, but then you afraid when the cops come.
No, 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 no. It's putting yourself in position where you don't have anything negatively happen to you. I've left and called the police. Absolutely. And stood outside waiting. I mean, I'm just not going to be in the house having a verbal confrontation that could go the wrong way because feelings are and emotions are going in a negative direction. No, it's best to remove yourself. It's best to remove yourself. Your house, your property, get out my house, all of that. That's look, if you want to go down that road, I'm just saying you might encounter the wrong person and they be willing to push it to a level while you waiting on the police to show up while you in your house. I'm not
Right.
saying I'm afraid of the police. I'm saying that if it's me, I'm removing myself. I'm calling the police. Hey, there's an intruder in my house. There's somebody in my house that don't belong there. I need to go. Whatever it is. I'm just saying that there's
Tell the
there's
police
other
she
ways.
armed so they could shoot at her.
Huh?
I said, tell the
Nah,
police she armed so they could shoot at her.
Yeah,
no, man.
nah,
No,
man.
but you're removing yourself.
But that's the same perpetual bullshit we always dealing with, right? Like
Mhm.
women, like so. Let me ask the ladies. Let me, East. You got a son, right? If
Hmm.
a if a boy hit him, is he supposed to hit him back?
Absolutely.
Or girls?
Mm. He got
See,
cousins.
see what? So the cousin get in trouble, right? So why is that a thing though? Why do women get to hit boys?
I don't think a woman should hit a boy. I mean, but
But you
I'm
girls
not
hit.
teaching him to put his hands on women either.
But he can put his hand. But why is it okay for him to let a woman put her hands on him?
Well, it goes back to our no. A woman should not put their hands on him.
So what
Period.
do he do?
He gonna have to look for other reasons, other ways to get back at him. His cousins, his mama, the principal, things like that. But it goes back to our first conversation. You said women are not naturally alpha. So he's naturally an alpha. He can't hit a beta, right?
He can hit
Yeah,
beta,
no, whoa,
right?
no, no,
He can't.
no. Alphas physically run the pack.
Mm-mm. Mm.
Yeah,
Alphas
But I'm
physically
not
run the
teaching him
pack.
to hit women, no.
but
If
no,
if we're gonna use the term, alpha, alpha is in physical control.
Mm.
No question, physical control. So I mean, I have a son too, and I've had conversations with him in the same regard. Like, defend yourself at best you can. You don't teach your son to hit a girl or hit a boy, but protect yourself. Protect yourself. And as he grows and I give him more guidance, remove yourself. Because you defending yourself might not go the same way.
but you see, right? When we bring up real situations, we've said, right, hey, yes, black men need to be protected and they need to protect themselves. When the opportunities arises, we go back to the same bullshit that we've been in. Yeah, let a woman glass you in your shit. Let her jam your eye up, right? Go call your cousin. That's not a real thing.
But if is that really protecting himself if he hits her back?
She won't
Yeah.
hit him again.
It depends on the situation, I feel, because if you're
Mhm.
getting beat up by a woman but it don't feel like it, because guys know instinctually when a situation is escalating to something dangerous for them. I think we all do. And if, like, yeah, a girl mushes you on your forehead, I think the average guy who has the capacity to love is just gonna push her away, maybe restrain her in some way and get himself out of that situation. But
Mhm.
if she really going in on you, like really going in, there's only so much you could take. So I don't think that there's anything wrong in that sense with you protecting yourself. I feel like then the lesson for her is don't put yourself in a situation to be physically overpowered, because naturally men and boys are stronger than females and girls physically. So it's like you can't then start to lose the fight and all of a sudden you're a victim. Oh, because I didn't know he was that strong. Oh shit, he really hit me for real. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you hit him. You know, so it's like that's just my take on it. But y'all go ahead.
No, that's not how you think. That's
I
not how you
like
think.
Q's take. Q be on point.
It's cute. Like, now, let me just clarify one thing. So I need to wait for pain before I retaliate.
You would know though. You like, yeah. I mean,
Really?
even if I think even if a female's in a situation with domestic violence, like if a guy just pushes her, I don't think she's gonna go to the extreme of like punching him in his gut, kicking him, and all that shit, because it ain't to that extent at that point. She just probably gonna try to get herself out of that situation. So it's the same thing. Not every time a woman puts her hands on a guy is it to that extreme where he needs to now, knock her the fuck out. But there have been situations like, I don't want to name any names on your particular podcast, but there was a guy who told a story about him having his young son, his infant son in his arms, and the mother of the child, who was then his girlfriend, I think, came at him with a gun and shot him. And he had to protect himself. He wasn't nice about it. He dog walked her. So it's like, yeah, but that came, like, to your point, that came after pain was inflicted on him to that point, because there was a lot of shit that happened before that he
Mhm.
just really didn't respond to, because he knew how nasty it could have gotten. So I think you have to have some type of personal restraint too.
Mhm.
Yeah. Master Corey.
Oh man, it's a tough topic. I mean, I obviously don't go around hitting on women, and I wouldn't teach my son to hit on women. But I would also tell women to not, put their hands on people, because I feel like once you put your hands on someone, you can't control how they'll respond, right? Just because you push me, don't mean I have to push you back. I could punch you back. You know what I'm saying? And you could avoid that, but they're just not touching me. So I think, whoever is the person who initiates the physical contact, they are at fault for whatever, punishment they receive. But I wouldn't personally do it. But I would, but I can understand. That's what I'll say. I wouldn't personally do it, but I can understand. And if you touch somebody first, then whatever happens after that, that was on you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You should think about that before you touch people. I do. Every time before I touch someone, I'll be like, could this person whip my ass? Yep. I could probably keep my hands to myself. And then, if you proceed in that way, you'll be good.
Yeah. For me, I already have a wife, right? So I'd be damned if some woman put their hands on me. I would advise everybody, don't fucking hit me, right? Because it's not gonna go how you think it's gonna go. I would highly advise you to keep your hands to yourself, man or woman, right? I know who I'm obligated to, and I got mad daughters,
Mhm.
right? Those are the women in my life, right? So some random woman, like, or just, you know what I mean, don't get out, don't do that, right? And again, Q said restraint, but there's no obligation and there's no guarantee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I already have me in mind, right? You know what I'm saying? So I just would recommend that women, if they knew that, like let's say you knew the purge was coming every year, how would people conduct themselves, right? Like on December 6th, that's a day you can get your ass whooped. Imagine how nice people would be on November 6th.
Mhm.
So if women knew you can't just go around just hitting people, would we be better off for it? That's just something I was pondering. You know?
Yeah, I think there's a book it's called When Violence is the Answer. You don't
Mhm.
get to gauge my level of conflict.
Yeah,
And to Corey's point, and to expound on what Q was saying, like that mush, that finger in the forehead, like you don't know what that could do to somebody,
And catch
right?
you on
And
the wrong day.
right, and it's easy to say, oh, that was just a finger, she just mushed you, but you don't know if he got mushed by his mother his whole life. You know what I mean? You don't
yeah,
know these things, so you don't get to gauge my level of conflict. And
yeah,
most men exercise that with each other. We know, like, if it get to a certain point, it's gonna keep going, right?
yeah,
So we tend not to be in physical altercations, even though it seems like guys getting a lot of fights. It doesn't really happen that often,
yeah,
but because we understand that your slap could turn into my punch could turn into your knife could turn into your cousin's gun, whatever it is, right? Like, we understand that there's no gauge on the level of conflict, and that's
yeah,
that's not something women inherently have, right? Because they don't grow up in that environment with physical altercations that are on the playground or with cousins or basketball, whatever it is. Typically that doesn't happen with women. They don't have to gauge their level of conflict. It's like, oh, you get into a scuffle when you're young, but whatever. But you know that should never be on someone's mind. Like, oh, I only pushed you, or I only did this, and it
Right.
warranted a level of conflict that you weren't prepared for. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Right.
And
that's why, I mean, again, remove yourself, because you never know where you're going to take it personally,
man, I ain't
right?
gonna keep leaving my house because somebody threatening me. That ain't a thing. But I understand what you're saying. Ish, I got a question.
Mhm.
What if a girl go ahead and spin on him?
Going to jail that night. Going to jail that night.
Really, really, really disrespectful.
He's going to jail that
Yeah,
night.
Yep.
That's
yeah,
assault.
it is.
So
I
what?
don't know.
What? No, I mean, this is
He's
not.
gonna call his mom, and I'm gonna meet him wherever he at.
So he gonna leave that loogie on his face, get his phone, and call his
Even down his forehead.
I'm gonna meet him where he at.
Fucking bedroom. Get him out of here.
Come on, I need an answer. It might be risky. It might be. It depends.
I don't even know. I can't even think of that happening. But my son, I know him, so I know when he gets mad, it's hard to calm him down. So he's gonna respond.
And then are you gonna reprimand him for responding in a particular way if that happens?
No,
Okay.
but I'm not gonna tell him you got to hit women. Or hit women. If you can walk away, walk away. But stuff happens.
Yeah. So I'm gonna ask the question again. If she
If
hawk spit in his face and
he
he put it,
respond, he respond.
Right.
hey man, we let this show flow a little differently today. The topics kind of just went into some of the candid conversation, and so I think it was pretty dope. Like I said, some people definitely got
Put him in the fucking bedroom.
today, but it is what it is. We will be snipping those out, because I think it's funny. And Sean, I'm impressed. What you Spark Notes for that book? I know you ain't read no whole fucking book.
Audible, man. It's audible.
That is not kind of reading a book, by the way.
What? What are you
Listen
talking
to a
about?
book
It
is not
does.
listen to a book is not reading a book.
If you retain information the same way, yes, it does.
Again,
What's the
listening
difference?
to a book is not. There's a clear definition for reading,
What's the
and
difference?
it doesn't involve oral. There's a clear definition for reading.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't agree. But you should definitely read that book. That's probably why you never put your
In
hands on
school,
me.
if they told you to stand up and read
That's
something
probably
to
why
the class, did the niggas who listen read it too, or did you read it?
That's probably why you never put your hands on me, because you knew where it could go.
No,
I respect your
I already
opinion.
know I'm gonna slap the shit out you, and you're
I
not gonna be able
respect
to
your
take it.
opinion.
But you're gonna call me and beat you up. All right, go ahead, Hal.
All right, man. Final thoughts. East, you up first. Final thoughts.
It's a woman's job to bring the contraceptives.
Yes, Ace. Yes. Thank you for taking ownership. You alpha now. Alpha now. You took leadership role.
All right. Let me get this one.
My final thoughts: keep your hands to yourself, and just because we have sex does not mean I want to make kids with you. I'm just here for the orgasm. That's all.
For my women, don't put your hands on a man and then be surprised at how he reacts. He's always going to be stronger than you. Don't do it.
There you go.
Amen.
Shout out to the baby, man. Next time, just leave. Next time, just leave and tell the police there's an intruder in your house, man.
With a gun.
No, now with a
Armed and
She gonna get
dangerous.
shot.
Yes. That's what we're going for. Armed and dangerous.
Nah, man.
My final thoughts: real alphas protect themselves. So protect yourself, protect yourself, protect yourself, however that looks. Protect your motherfucking self.
Indeed, man. Listen, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. This might be risky. We out. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Run! It's a stampede! DJ Ham the Stampede. DJ Ham the Stampede.